Retail and hospitality is changing, with often complex and fragmented systems combined with large volumes of customer data for businesses to make sense of. It's critical to work with the right partners in order to guarantee success. At Tratec Consulting, we help retail and hospitality businesses transform their technology, removing overly bloated processes and creating unified and efficient systems of working throughout. So don't just take our word for it. See for yourself. Tratec Consulting, the leaders in technology transformation across retail and hospitality.
Good evening and welcome to the All Things Borough podcast, the official podcast for Farnborough Football Club, sponsored by Tratec Consulting, taking your business visions and turning them into innovative reality. I'm Alan as usual, and I'm joined by Simon. Simon, good evening.
Evening, Alan. How are you?
Good. Yeah, it's been a tough week. I've been working really hard, unlike you, obviously.
Yeah, me too. Really hard. Done about a day's work this week so far. Yeah.
This week, yeah. Okay.
Yeah, this week. Off tomorrow as well.
But unfortunately, no Tom tonight. Unfortunately, I think he's working tonight with it at Pets at Home. So hello to Tom if you're watching, and hello to everybody else that's watching. This is, as usual, this is all on our YouTube channel. So good evening to everybody that is watching. And as you can see, we've got a very special guest tonight. We have got new signing Dan Bradshaw. Good evening, Dan.
Evening, gents.
How are you doing?
Yeah, not too bad. Been worse weeks.
Yes, no, it's been a worse few weeks, I think. Where are we talking to you from? Are you at home?
Yeah, at home. Yeah. So it's.
Where is home? Are you local? Are you localist to Farnborough? Or?
Yeah, home's Winchester, so sort of just.
Oh, not too bad. Yeah. Nice part of the world as well.
Yeah, nice Christmas market actually. I went there once, but unfortunately I got the route wrong, and they were still setting up, so we didn't actually go. So yeah, bit of a bummer.
Everyone says
another one of my disastrous dates with my ex-wife. That was probably the reason why we weren't. It's now my ex. There we are. Yeah. Have you been to the Ivy in Winchester? It's quite nice.
I have. Yes. Yeah.
Yeah, decent. Yeah. It's very nice. It was. Yeah. I treated the ex to a bit of lunch for my mess up for the date.
Okay. Yeah.
You got some nice pictures on the wall there. What are they? You got 24-hour Le Mans? You got there?
Yeah, Le Mans, and a few others, some old art. So keep it
very nice. very very tasteful. Very tasteful.
Yeah. Right. Yeah. So we'll touch on quickly then. Well, not quickly, but the last few games. Well, the first few games of the season so far have been exceptional for us. Been really good for us. We are currently the only team in the league with a proper 100% record with 3 wins out of 3. You've been involved with all of them. Tell us how's it been over these 3 games, but not just for you, but for everybody else as well.
Yeah, I think obviously, we couldn't be off to a better start. I don't think we could have dreamed of being sat here at top of the league. I think the first game, the first sort of 30 minutes of it, everyone was finding their feet and maybe a few nerves from starting the season, and it's quite a slope as well. I don't want to touch onto that. It was quite a pitch against Chippenham, but I think Ricky pulled an absolute worldie out and sort of settled everyone down. And then just went into half time on that game 1-0 up, and everyone's sort of finding their feet, and we know what Spencer's has set out for us to do, and we got an early goal just after the half time. And I thought we sort of held on really well. Maybe a nervy few minutes at the end of that game, but it was good to see it out. And I mean, 3 points from the first game of the season is all anyone can ask for, no matter how you get them.
Yeah, that's true. Actually, yeah, we were looking at when the fixtures came out. I thought Chippenham away, but that's going to be a really tough one. That because they keep the ball really well, and I think every Farnborough fan in the country would say, or not just, or maybe in the world, who knows, that would be quite happy with a draw from that game. I think, but to get a 2-1 away win was a really good result. And Bill, what you said, I think Spencer was a little bit disappointed with the first half display, and he said the same as you, really, that. The players were a bit nervous and trying to find their feet, etc. So, yeah, what did Spencer say at half time to get you guys motivated? Did he read the right act for a few teacups, or was he quite calm?
I think so. A bit of both. We sort of all knew in ourselves. I don't think we need to be told that the first sort of 30 was a bit not good enough. But it was the start of the season. Everyone's gelling together. It was still a relatively new team. Obviously, we've kept the core of the team from last season, which is excellent. And then I think we've only added to it with positive signings. And we sort of came into it, like I said. Luckily, Ricky hit an absolute wonder strike. And us down, but we knew what we were doing. We had a game plan set out, especially on their formation, and we knew how they would like to play, especially Chippenham trying to play out, and then obviously we reaped the rewards, and 2 minutes later Ricky grabs one off his back, and we find ourselves 2-0 up, which is...
Did it go off his back? Because I've watched the replay, and I've seen it 3 or 4 times. I can't work out who it hits and what it hits, but because I think it's a Chippenham player in a way where the ball is, so I couldn't quite work it out. But they all count, as they say.
Absolutely. And yes, we carried on that flow of things. I think the last couple of minutes was a little bit iffy, but we saw it out, and like I say, a perfect start to the season, really.
Brilliant stuff. And then we come on to the talkie game, which we was at. We were doing the live commentary up in the stand with Ben. We did a few bits sort of around the ground as well for the podcast. But I think the Torquay game, I know that they're a brand new team. Basically, they've got a whole new squad. Obviously, new management, new owners, and that. So I think going into the game, I think as fans, we kind of thought that it was obviously going to be a tough one, because they obviously signed good players, the good National League South players.
Yeah.
How did you guys view the game beforehand, and obviously were your minds sort of changed at half time, because we went in 1-0 up? Were we 1-0 up at half time?
Yeah,
1-0.
How did you guys feel the game beforehand, and then obviously during?
Well, we knew it was going to be a big game, and we know they're a full-time outfit, and they're like we got a 2-1 victory on the first game of the season, so we knew it was going to be a tough game, big, strong, quite direct side, and they played 3-5-2 as well. But I think we knew in ourselves what we're capable of, even though, like I say, they're a full-time outfit, and we went out, and I think after the first half was amazing. We limited them to few chances. We set our press well, and we stuck to the game plan that was stuck out. Like I said, we went in 1-0 half time again, and we knew we can hold on for the second half. I think again the second half we didn't want to drop deep and allow, like I think sort of the England squad in the Euros, just drop deep and allow pressure to come on. So we wanted to keep a high line and still keep on attacking, looking for the second. I think later and later into the game they had maybe one or few more chances, but I think all in all we held out well, and for my home debut especially, I thought it was absolutely unbelievable. The fans, just everything about it was such a good sort of home opener, and I don't think we could want any more with well.
I agree with you, Danny, because I think there's a nice big crowd for you yourself. On a personal level, it must have been great having 1,500 people there for a home debut, and playing a really big side and getting a 1-0 win, clean sheet as obviously a defender. You like the clean sheet. So I think from your own personal point of view, I don't really think you could have gone any better. I'm guessing.
No, absolutely not. It was everything we could have wanted for, and like I say, as a defender, what we want is clean sheets, and we know if we get clean sheets, our forward players are so creative and positive that we're going to score goals. So we're going to win games if we keep clean sheets, and I think that's something that the back four and the midfield and obviously JT and goal are drilled into us that's what we want. I think we were a bit actually annoyed with conceding so late against Chippenham. If we didn't concede that goal, it'd be 3 out of 3 clean sheets, which is sort of unheard of level. And to hold out a clean sheet against, well, firstly Torquay and then Eastbourne, 2 full-time sides is I think credit to obviously Spencer laying out the team and the staff, and then obviously us to implement that into the games. So,
I mean, I was going to say, you really brought the form that you showed against Torquay onto Tuesday night's game against I don't remember who it was against. Go on now.
Eastbourne. Against Eastbourne, you were struggling with a team name there, Simon.
Yeah, I don't know why I was there. You wouldn't know it And and yeah, I thought again similar story really. It limited them to chances. We got a really good goal through Chinny. And really, yeah, despite the second half, they come out of they obviously played better second half, same as what Torquay did. Really, they sort of up their game a little bit, and we just defended very well as a team and worked really hard. And I always thought we looked to be kind of trying to still be on the front foot where we can and try and create as well. And I think we obviously got the second goal from a set piece, which was always nice. But it's always nice from the scoring team to get a goal from a set piece, but it's also bad for the team that are defending them or the team who concedes they hate them. So yeah, it's really good. I thought you had a good solid game as well on Tuesday. To be fair, was it like under the floodlights at Surreywood? And just a nice experience.
Yeah, it was lovely. It was a lovely evening for it, and I think it was a really good turnout as well. I think it was like almost 900, was it? On
a 859, yeah, for a Tuesday, yeah, pretty good.
Yeah, and we could hear the fans the whole game, and I think that pushes us on to build more and more the better we're doing, and get everyone down for the games. But I think it was the same as the first game against Chippenham. We got a goal so early on in the second half that it sort of settled us down and stopped any momentum they had coming out from the second half. And it was a good finish off I think Clarkie's shin, but they all count.
I got railroaded today from someone quite close by, saying that you give him a disservice there by saying it come off his shin, but I thought it did. But as I say, they all count. It did come off his shin, didn't it?
Yeah, it was a great celebration though. So I think
it was, to be fair. Yeah, from my angle, it looked like he didn't quite catch it. You know what I mean? But I think that's what fooled the goalkeeper, because he couldn't see it, and then it also went in at a funny angle. So I don't think he had no chance really. But
yeah,
I'm sure Taylor would take it though.
Yeah.
To be fair, when I saw the footage today of his goal, the camera angle is behind him, so it kind of it doesn't look, you can't see it come off his shin. It looks like it's a clean shot off the top of his boot.
I think the goalkeeper, everyone was in the way, and the goalkeeper was unsighted as well.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah. See,
what does Spencer say to you then, like at half time, especially like the Torquay and the Eastbourne game? Like you said, they're two full-time teams. You know they're going to come out strong. Obviously, like Eastbourne didn't come out as strong as they should have done in the first half, but you knew that things were going to change. Like with Torquay, you knew that you kind of probably had an idea that they were going to maybe make a couple of changes to try and change things up a bit, to try and sort of put a bit more impetus into their own side. So what does Spencer and Steve and Neil say to you guys during that halftime break, knowing full well that something like that's going to happen?
Well, I think we've been blessed by those two games, that in the first half especially we played really well, and we've limited both teams to quite a few chances. So I don't want to say it's the cliche, just keep on doing what you're doing, but it is, if it was going really well, we don't want to change too much. I think we got to understand, and we know that the pressure is going to be coming on us, and the balls are going to be coming into the box. Like against Eastbourne, I think they moved their centre back up front in the last sort of 10 minutes. So we knew that pressure was going to be forced onto us. But we know as our shape as a team, and we know how to work for each other and limit teams to chances. So I think it was mainly that, just sort of stay concentrated, I think, because I think one thing that we would have conceded would have been a lack of concentration from us, not necessarily other teams breaking us down, more us maybe slipping up and sort of giving them a goal, if it were. So I think it was just keep concentrated and make sure we're ready for anything that comes. And like I say, I think we've handled that really well in both games, well, all three games. But yeah, it's a start, and I think a game of football is 95, 100 minutes now, even with some of the additions they're adding. So like I say, I think concentration is the main thing that he tries to drill into us at half time. And we know that changes are going to be coming. That can always be tough when we bring on 3, 4, maybe even 5 players this year. I think subs are going to be massively important in every game, especially with the amount of games we're playing over the next couple of weeks. And I think Tuesday, especially, when everyone came on there, I think they were exceptional and fit right into the game and got in sort of up to the tempo of the game straight away. And that always helps, because sometimes when sort of players come in from subs, they can they can sometimes not be up at the pace of the game and not quite be at it with the other teammates. And I thought we're bang onto that, and we know that that's going to be a crucial part of the season as well. Is our subs, because at the end.
I agree with you, Dan. Because I mean, perhaps someone like Sam Smart coming on as well. He just comes on and just sort of carries the ball as well, rather than just sort of some players will come on and just like knock it out or knock it down the line or something. You give away possession. He likes to dribble it and carry it down the wing, which is much better. Then everybody can push up the pitch. Then it reduces pressure, doesn't it, when someone does that? And also David Bremain coming on as well, held the ball up really well and then did a job for the team as well. After 3.5, I did think we were slightly fortunate getting a 2-0, because they did score 2 goals, but they're both disallowed for offside. From your point of view, were they sort of close offsides, or were they always going to be offside in your view?
Yeah, so I think the first one was he was a good 4 or 5 yards offside, and then the last one, I remember it was the last kick of the game. He was about 2 yards offside. I think Robbo was the last. He stepped up and he was a good 2 yards offside, and we held our line well.
Yeah.
If someone's that deep, there's no point us following and sort of keeping everyone else on side. I think those sort of occasions are just a sign of how good our line was and how we were.
Well, it's good organisation, isn't it, from the defending from that regard? So you put it down to more good defending from the Borough rather than a bit of luck.
I think so. Sometimes we can be a bit lucky on maybe 1 or 2 occasions, and obviously if you're playing that game, you're always relying on the lino to give it. But I think in all the instances, we're so attuned to each other now that we know sort of how to step up and where we need to be. Maybe we probably get up the pitch a bit quicker in the dying moments of the game, but some of the legs maybe don't allow you to.
It's easier said than done, that, isn't it, Dan? Yeah, definitely. Yeah, it's let's say it's been a really good start. What are you looking forward to most about Saturday's game against Welling? Is that someone you've played before, or is it a new ground for you?
Yeah, so that'd be a new team and a new ground for me. I've never been there. So it sounds like quite a trek around the M25, but that'll be a new one to tick off for me. We've done our research and our due diligence on their team, and I think we know the system we're going to play and how we're going to combat their team. But yeah, like I say, it'll be a new one for me. So
yeah,
how hard is it now for you guys, especially with these because obviously being a part-time club, you only train twice a week if you haven't got a midweek game. So how hard is it when midweek games are on to get that sort of training in and get that sort of tactical talk from the coaches?
Yeah, so normally, actually, if it's a Saturday game, we'll have a talk, even if after win, lose or draw, after the match, and just have fun talking about the Monday or the Tuesday game when we're all together, just so we can get a bit of even a start base of an understanding of what we're going to do, because the previous game's gone now. We've just got to focus on the next one. But like I say, this week we were in yesterday, just sort of like a recovery session. And we went over a few bits of how we're going to play on Saturday and sort of talking about what we did well on the previous night to get ready for that. And then we'll sort of have some stuff on the group chat, some videos and some analysis and some just how they play and how we're going to combat that, their formations and what we're going to do, just so we're all on the same page before we turn up. And then obviously Spencer will tell on the day of we can get everything clarified down and go through everything that we've talked about in the week. And you never know, there could be changes when the team sheet comes out an hour before kickoff, there might be changes on the opposition and we'll have to adapt to that. But so it's multiple ways of just trying to sort of prepare for the next game. Like you say, though, it is tough when the games are back to back. Like this weekend, it's under, I think, 36 hours between 2 games.
Yeah, you got Saturday and then Monday straight away.
Yeah.
So, have you found working with Spencer so far? Obviously, you got to be careful what you say, obviously. But I mean, from most people's point of view, he's quite into all the sort of the tactical side of things, and he's quite in depth with what he tries to tell you and gives you quite a lot of information. Have you found that easy to take on board or difficult at times?
No, absolutely. I think it's been exactly what we need. It's been, I mean, it goes to show we're 9 points from 9, so something's working. But I think everyone in the team really likes that technical aspect and the tactical analysis of the other teams and knowing everyone on the same page. It's almost like before the game, we're a step ahead of where we would be if we didn't do any of that. So we know what we're going to do and we know what they're going to do. And I think not just Spence, but both Bateses and Dave and everyone, all the backroom staff have been really good for that. And we're all on the same page. And the more we win, the more confidence we're going to get. I feel like it's only we're going to grow as a team and get better and better.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm assuming that a lot of this sort of tactical sort of side of things has come. You get a lot of that information during pre-season, because I guess that's when you'll get a lot of time for training.
Yeah. I think the first 2 weeks are less football, more getting sort of fitness into that level. Those first 2 weeks aren't normally the best, but it's done, I think, every year. But yeah, and then we've got 4 or 5 weeks leading up to the season, and all the work we do on the pitch and the analysis, everything's for the 10th of August against Chippenham. And as a team, we know how Spencer and the gaffer wants us to play, and how we're going to set things up so that nothing is sort of new to us by the time we get into the season. And then we're as a team, we're collectively on the same sort of wavelength, which is exactly what you need.
Yeah, exactly. No, that's good. Just going back briefly to pre-season. You obviously found yourself on trial at Farnborough in the summer months. If you want to start off with that and maybe work your way backwards, because I know you started off your football playing career at Southampton in their academy there, but obviously you found yourself at Farnborough during the summer months. How did the sort of the trial and how did the move come about in the end? Was it via Neil Baker, possibly via his Beaconsfield contacts, possibly?
Yeah. So I've known Neil for probably 2 years now, when he was co-managing with John Underwood last season. Sorry, the season before that. And I've had my season with John Underwood last year at Beaconsfield, and I've always kept in contact with Bakes, and just to see how he's doing, and obviously got the move to Farnborough. And I've always had my eye on Farnborough anyway, and really like the club, the fans, everything about it, the way they play. And he got me in at the start of pre-season and said it's going to be tough, but he knows what I'm like as a player, and if I do what I know I can do and what I have been doing, then it will suit me down to the ground. So it was a lot of work in the off season. It wasn't easy at all by any stretch. And since I've been here, I think the whole group and everyone, I feel like I've sort of slotted in perfectly and made me feel really welcome early on, which was ideal for me, because then once you're sort of a bit more composed and feel part of the team, then you can really express yourself and play. And yeah, I've loved absolutely every minute of it, really. I don't think I've had a bad minute in training, matches, media, anything. I've really enjoyed it. So
yeah, we noticed that you stood out actually, and I've been to most of the preseason games, and all the fans are all saying that number 12, try to see. He stands out quite well. He looks a decent player, and I said, nah, he's rubbish. He'll never make it. But anyway, what do I know? You just definitely stood out in pre-season, I have to say. And a lot of the fans thought, I hope we sign him, he's really good. Now, I think it was all a bit up in the air for a week or so, from what I heard, whether Spencer was going to sign, because obviously we had Ben Mason as well. We just signed him as a right back, sort of plays the same playing area as you do. So, but obviously then Ben got injured, so that's been that was sort of the catalyst for you getting the move done probably quicker than most people thought, I think. So yeah, obviously from a player's point of view, it's obviously you don't wish an injury on anybody, but it's got of maybe sort of from your point of view, it's helped you get into the team a bit quicker than you may have originally done, if you don't mind me saying.
Yeah, I mean, obviously I never want anyone to get injured, especially my teammates. And I'm sure, I think he's hopefully back soon, so that's good news for that. And yeah, it was the minute before half time against Sutton, and I sort of got my shin pads on, chucked on, and sort of came on. And then yeah, had a really enjoyable game against Sutton. And sometimes when you're trialing, you try and overwork and try and do things and impress. So I sort of tried to keep my game how I wanted to do it. I think both Bakers have told me just to play my game and sort of calm down sometimes and do what you did. And so I tried to settle into that and do that. And well, luckily, I think we had an amazing game against Sutton. And then from then, I just tried to push on against every team we played. All of the games I think I really enjoyed. Yeovil, Havant, Maidenhead. And yeah, like you say, there was a bit of negotiation between all of us, all the camps, and thankfully we got everything over the line, and was so excited to join. And I sort of knew a few days before it was all announced, and I couldn't wait to sort of share the news on Twitter and stuff, and sort of officially get announced, other than Trial C.
I was going to say, have you changed your name by default since that point? You could have a few middle names in there. Yeah, it's quite catchy, to be fair. I think it could work.
I saw a few of the tweets as well, from some of the fans and people saying that number 12 was playing well, and it only gives you more confidence.
Yeah. I mean, the first time I think the first time we saw you was that Sutton game when you came on. Quite hurriedly brought on when Mason had to come off, and I think that was the first when we watched you play. We were really impressed from the beginning, and from then on for all the other pre-season games, we were just seeing comments from other fans, and even fans were messaging us on the podcast on Twitter saying the same thing, saying how good they hoped you would sign. And when it came to like the announcement, when the club announced their new signings, I think you were probably one of the first names on the wish list, so to say, when Mike does his little teaser things where saying who's going to sign, and immediately you can see at the bottom like Bradshaw. It's got to be Bradshaw. So you've impressed a lot of people.
To be fair though, he wasn't at the very top, and there was some people. There was Ronaldo, Messi, and so I see that from Chelsea on there. But yeah,
no place after those two, I think.
Yeah, you came a close third though. Apparently, very close third.
But you've impressed. You have impressed a lot of people, a lot of fans, with the way that you play, the way that you sort of carry yourself on the pitch, in those pre-season friendlies. So very well done for securing that contract, and it's been absolutely brilliant having you on.
It only gives you more confidence when you read those sort of things and reassure you're doing well, because after all, the fans are most important people at the club. And if they're impressive, if you're impressing them and you're liking them and everything's molding together well, then what more can you ask for? So
exactly.
So going back a bit further, and you obviously started. I said you started your career at Southampton in the academy. Then when you had a move to Forest Green in the under-18 side, and then you've ended up in a bit of non-league football. What was the sort of grounding like at Southampton? They've got a very good academy, haven't they? And how did it come about you leaving Southampton? I'm assuming you like a lot of players. You ended up being released, and then you ended up finding your way into another club, and then now you're going down the non-league route to maybe get yourself back into league football, possibly. I'm only assuming that. You can clarify that for me if you want to.
Yeah. So I started my career at Southampton at probably about 6 or 7 years old. When I was first sort of getting into, I started off in playing like your local team, and then got scouted from Southampton, and like I say, from about under 7s onwards. And then I went for a spell of, I think like everyone has, playing for about 5 or 6 clubs at that time. One a night. I think my dad, my taxi driver at the time, was not so loving that. But yeah, so I then was in at Southampton all the way through my sort of school years and up until under 16, and I unfortunately didn't get a scholarship there, and it was quite a big hit at that time, because that's all I knew, being a young lad, and I got reached out to by Forest Green for a scholarship, and I went up there and I watched Forest Green actually in League Two play against Luton Town as a first game.
Yeah, they go in different directions now, they crikey.
And loved the club and loved everything about it, and I signed my scholarship there, and I was there for 2 years, and I really enjoyed my football there. It was a different experience from Southampton, with all of the facilities, and sort of made me learn a lot more about football, I think, and myself. And unfortunately, didn't get signed on there because that was the year of COVID, and everything was up in the air, and there was a lot of change. So after that, I signed for Eastleigh, and I had a year there. Obviously impressed, did well, and then I signed my professional contract at Eastleigh, and made my debut against Weymouth. So we'll be meeting them again this season. Mm-hmm. I played for 3 minutes. Luckily, we got a winner in those 3 minutes, so I couldn't ask more for that. And then I needed to think a bit of men's experience. And then I went out on loan to Beaconsfield at Step 3 at the time, in the Southern Prem. And I think Farnborough were in that league in that season. That was the season you got promoted.
Yeah, possibly.
we would
Yeah,
have,
yeah.
Was it when we got through the playoffs against Hayes and Yedding that season?
Yeah.
That
was the season I joined right at the end of that, and then signed on permanently after that, and had a spell of 2 years at Beaconsfield. I've done over 150 odd men's appearances there, and it teaches you so much more than sort of under 21s football. Real sort of dark art side of football, I may say.
That's been mentioned a few times.
Prime subject over the last couple of games.
Yeah. It's been a weird one, that. And
well, we're on that. What do you make of all of that rubbish? I don't prescribe to it myself, but
I don't see what anyone else sees.
No.
Is people maybe taking their time on set pieces and stuff, but who's winning going to be running after a ball and speeding up play? No team. So I don't
exactly.
Me and Alan had this conversation after we listened to another interview with the Weymouth manager, and the second person who'd mentioned it. I said, well, when you're 2-0 up in the game, you're not going to take the throw-ins or the corners as fast as you possibly can, are you? And I mean, Jack Turner's not going to take the goal kicks as quick as he can, or bowl them out short and get on with it, are you? You know what I mean? It's just I think it's just really.
Yeah, just to clarify to everybody, Simon, you didn't mean Weymouth, you meant Eastbourne.
Did I say Weymouth?
Yeah.
Did I? Tip of the tongue.
Yeah.
It's Dan's fault. You mentioned Weymouth, and I've got happy memories down there last season.
Yeah. I saw that on Twitter last season.
It was a really good day out, actually. Yeah, and we're going. Me and Alan are booked to go down there on the 26th of October as well. Funny enough, we were just discussing that before you came on. We're going down there again. Our usual jaunt for the weekend. So we're looking forward to that. Yeah, should be nice. Should be good. Hopefully we'll get another good crowd down there. That'd be nice.
Yeah. Maybe it's the dark arts is the fact that we've got 2 centre backs that can throw it half the length of the pitch.
Maybe. Yeah. I mean, listen, like you said, Dan. If any team in this league or any league, if they're winning, they're going to be doing it.
Yeah.
They're not. I mean, they're not going to be. They're the first ones that won't be complaining when their own keeper is taking his time putting the ball down for a goal kick, or when your fullback is walking slowly to the ball to take a throw in. Yeah. I mean, these people, look, they only complain about it when they're losing, but when they're winning, they'll be the first ones to defend it. So people in glass houses, mate. People in glass houses. That's all I was saying.
I've watched both games, and I have to say, I don't think Jack in particular, Jack Turner in particular, the goalie, he wasn't taking the piss. He was taking a bit of time, but it wasn't ordinarily long. And the referee had got hold of it as well. You probably noticed. I think he blew his whistle once and maybe pointed at his watch once for the entire 2 games. It wasn't exactly, so I don't think it was too bad. But anyway, we have to cut it out. We're going to get ourselves a reputation otherwise.
Yeah, player that got a yellow for simulation against Eastbourne was one of them. So
yeah, exactly. Yeah, I think I was a bit arsed, to be fair.
Yeah,
the thing also with Jack
was a foul, to be honest.
Yeah.
The thing also with Jack Turner as well is he loves the whole housery side of things, and he loves winding the away fans up when he's doing that kind of thing. So I think it was against Torquay. He was when he got the ball, he went down and he sort of almost rolled backwards as if to roll it back over his line and then roll back. And so he loves winding the fans up, and he loves all that banter side of things. As long as it's all nice and happy, then he's all right. He's all right. But yeah, every club does it. I mean, there's nothing.
I think he's got that from Harvey Bradbury. I think he's taken a leaf out of Harvey's book. Yeah. So
So going back to Beaconsfield then. How was your time? How would you sort of define your time there at Beaconsfield? Because there's a couple of stats. You scored like nine goals in your first season. Is goal scoring something that you sort of pride yourself in as part of your fullback role?
Yeah, I think half of the season now was a bit further forward, so I think it allowed me to get goals and assists that season. But yeah, definitely, it's one thing that I'd like to keep on my game is goals and especially assists in that role. Either sort of getting it in for Mason to get a few tap-ins and some crosses in, or getting forward myself and getting some goals. But like you say, in that first season, I had a bit more of a forward role. So I think it allowed me to get a few more goals to my game. but it's something I definitely like to add more and more to my game, like anyone, and help the team.
I think it's part and parcel of the fullback role now, isn't it? It's changed over the years. Fullbacks used to be very defensive, kind of, do a defensive job first. But these days, you're kind of expected to get forward and get crosses in and contribute attacking wise as well, aren't you?
Yeah, absolutely. It's about finding that balance. I think the main thing that we want as a back four and a keeper especially is a clean sheet. That is our goals, and then forwardly it is aiding the forwards and the midfielders to contribute and get the crosses in and allow them to get out the pitch. And I think the more we play in the opposition's half, the more chances that I'm going to have and the team's going to have in general. But like you say, it's finding that balance between going forward, but also sometimes I think especially Guy and Robbo having me on a bit of string and sort of reeling me in, making sure I don't go forward too much.
Yeah, no, you feel me. I played left back quite a few years, and I had the same thing then. Yeah. I was much better going forward than I was defensively. So I used to get the
once again, the lies that keep come out of this boy's mouth is unreal.
Listen,
he's got to stop doing this. You've got to stop comparing yourself to these players that we have on.
I could have been the next Graham Lasso. You know what I mean? It could have been me.
Yeah, good days.
yeah,
could have been the next Graham. Only if you were from Jersey as well, though.
Listen. Anyway, moving on. I think we've got some questions for some fans, haven't we? So we should put those to Dan.
Yeah, perfect.
The questions you kind of sort of inadvertently answered as you were going along, because one of the questions was how did the move to Farnborough come along, and you've already sort of answered that really. Yeah. But yeah, so what's the future hold for you then at the club? Is this a club that you see yourself here for a good few seasons?
I hope so. Yeah, I hope so. I hope I see myself at this club in the National League next year. I think that is the main goal. But I think we can't get ahead of ourselves. We've just got to take sort of game by game, week by week, and get edge closer to that goal. But ultimately, absolutely, I think it is something is that the whole team's goal towards is getting that promotion. Firstly, either playoffs or automatics, but especially definitely playoffs is the goal. And yeah, I like I say, I love the club. I've always wanted to get in. I've got my foot in the door now, and I'm here to stay. Hopefully.
I think that that sort of belief that you've all got of like this season is the season to get into those playoffs, because the last 2 years we've narrowly missed it. Like last season we only missed out by 1 point. And for every new signing that we've, like yourself, that we've had through the door, and also all the lads that have come in that have stayed from last season, they've all had the same thing to say. You've all had the same thing to say, and that is making the playoffs, getting to the playoffs this year. That has to be the goal. Is that a goal that has come from above you, from Spencer and the team, or is that just sort of that collective thing that you as players yourselves have got together and discussed and said?
I think it's a thing, a common theme around the whole club at the moment, be it fans, players, staff. It's a real belief that we can and get the promotion. I think the last 3 or 4 months from last season just goes to show of where the club can be and should be. And we've kept the core team, I think, from last season, and we've added quality players in most positions, and I think we've got a really strong squad at the moment. We must be one of the most informed teams in the whole of the country at the moment. I think we were one of the most, probably the form team before the season even started, based on last season. So yeah, and we've certainly carried that on into this season. And I wouldn't say we've shocked people, because a lot of people, the people that know football and know this level of football, understand that the players that we've kept and the players that we've brought in show that as a club mean sort of business as to where we want to be. Yeah. So I think and that sort of collective thought is something that you as players yourselves are sort of taken on board and running with, and look, you're running with it really well at the minute, the first 3 games. So, and long may that continue. Yeah, I think football is all about momentum and confidence. I think we're full of that at the moment. I think we've got to remain grounded and take game by game and not get over ourselves no matter who we're playing. And take every game as we have taken our last. But ultimately, we're sat here with 9 out of 9 points. We've got to enjoy it, and we've earned that. And it's just something to build on. I think it's a whole collective theme throughout the club this year, be it, like I say, fans or players or staff, that there's a real strive for promotion. And I think the first 3 games have just shown how far the club's sort of grown and what our ambitions are and how achievable they are. So I think.
What was it that brought you? Sorry, Tom. What was it that brought you to the club initially? Because I know you said that you had a sort of the club on your radar the last like season or two, but had you heard things or spoken to other players that had been here or are currently here? Like you said, I know you spoke to Neil Baker as well, because he brought you in. But is there something specific like that, or that with us as a club that sort of attracts players to us?
I think it was a collection of loads of things. Baked had nothing but positive words to say about the club. The fan base is obviously amazing, and I've seen that firsthand now. And long may that continue. And I knew a few former players. I think Elliot Buchanan. I played last sort of year.
You played with him at Beaconsfield, didn't you?
Yeah. Who else? Scott Donnelly. A few years ago, I've had a brief spell with him. And every player has the same thing, and how positive the whole club is, and the direction the club's going. And all of those things combined, it only made me want to come to the club more. And I got given that chance, and I feel like I've grasped it, and now part and parcel of the team, and just want to kick on. I think the only direction I want to go is up. And at the moment, that is the direction we are all going. So.
Yeah. Obviously, you said all the right things there, other than obviously trying to get on the club podcast as well being number one priority for you. But other than that, you said all the other right things, Dan. So well done. The only other thing I was going to ask you, is I've now left my mind for some reason, was if you obviously you've probably only got a contract until the end of the season, I assume, is like most players. But you obviously you already said you want to stay at the club for a bit longer, so that's always good. How do you find that as a player, as a young man as you are? You're only 22. How do you find the whole non-league setup? Because a lot of players don't tend to get they don't get contracts for long periods of time. It's not like Chelsea getting like 7-8 year deals and things like that. You're only year by year. Do you find that quite difficult, not knowing where you're going to be maybe next year, or is it just something you have to just get on with and accept?
Yeah, I think I've had experience of moving clubs in the past, and it's something you've got to get used to. That is football. People move on and people change clubs. But I can't look into the future too much. I think I've got a contract, I've earned it, and now we've just got to focus on this season and doing what we're all setting out to do. I think like last season, a lot of the team remained and he kept the core group together. And I think depending on how this season goes, which looks like it's going in a good direction, which I'm sure it will, that will be the same occurrence next season, depending on where we end up. So yeah, it's something. It is tough, but that's football. You've got to learn to adapt and change to things. I'd love to be at the club for as long as possible, and like I say, we'll see where things up end at the end of the year. Just got to remain focused on where we are now, and yeah, look to push on.
Yeah, there's definitely on the play side, what you've briefly mentioned there. Well, I've spoke to Steve Baker a few times after some of the games, and there is definitely a collective about the way things are and taking things game by game. At the end of the day, it's only 3 points. That sort of attitude, and on to the next game, just doing the right things. So I think that stands the club in good stead going forward. Because, like you say, you don't want to get too far ahead of yourself. No, there's a few fans sort of jovially saying, yeah, we're gonna piss the league, etc., etc. But it is a tough league. I think this year it's tougher than it was in some respects last year. You had the Oval who were like miles clear of everybody else, and there was sort of 5 or 6 teams battling it out. But I think this season you've got maybe 10 or 12 teams that are very closely matched this year. So yeah, we'd be interested to see how we get on with games. We got a tough couple of games. We've got Bournemouth away and then Dorking coming up. So they're going to be interesting matches to see where we actually lie with the likes of them.
Yeah. Yeah, it's every game in this level, in most levels, are going to be tough. You can't take anything for granted, no matter who we're playing, where they are, or their form. I think at the moment, as it stands, we've got a target on our back, being the only unbeaten side, or the only side on a 100% win rate. But I think Spencer mentioned it in his interview. There's nowhere else we want to be. We would want to have that. Want to be on 9 on 9 and continue to push it. So and hopefully that continues as long as possible.
Yeah. Hopefully be 12 and then 15 out of 15. Really luck after bank holiday weekend. Fingers crossed. Yeah.
Just before we let you go, is there any team that you're looking forward to facing this season coming up that we haven't faced yet?
I think I've got to say Boreham Wood or Dorking. I think it's got to be those two. I think they're the two names that are always sort of strung along as being the two in the league. But I would have to say, as a game, maybe last game of the season when we list that trophy.
Yeah.
Good answer.
It could be us and Maidstone fighting it out for the league title. I mean, they were my tips to win the league. To be fair, they haven't got off to the best of starts. To be fair, they've had a couple of surprising draws recently. But Maidstone away. I saw Maidstone home. Sorry, last match. I looked at that and thought, oh, blimey, that could be a tough one. I'm hoping we don't need a point to get in the playoffs again, or a point to avoid relegation. I was thinking at the start of the season.
I think Hampton is in between Christmas and New Year, or around then at home.
We've got Hampton Boxing Day. Hampton's on Boxing Day. Yeah.
Yeah, and we're away on the Easter Monday against them as well. So that'll be they'll be decent games. Yeah, there's unfortunately around here. There's quite a lot of close knit teams actually, isn't there? Because you got Hampton around it, Slough not too far. And then obviously the league above, you've got the likes of Aldershot, Woking, and all those sorts of teams. Quite a lot of teams around this area, sort of at a similar level, aren't there? So lots of nice little rivalries. Obviously, Dorking just down the road, really, as well. So it's quite nice.
And hopefully we get a good cup run and have a big team either home or away.
Yeah, that'd be good, wouldn't it?
Yeah, that'd be good. Yeah. No, we need it. We need it. We had a good cup run a couple of years ago. We lost out to Wrexham in the end. So another good FA Cup run would be amazing for us, really.
Yeah, it'd be nice to get a home tie against one of the big teams. Well, for that Cherry Road, that'd be great, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
See you bombing up and down the right wing, Dan.
Get the Premier League side. I think that's all we'll take at the moment.
Oh yeah, that'd be great, wouldn't it? Third round, Chelsea at Cherrywood. That'd be fantastic.
Yeah.
So, just quickly as well, what have you found the biggest difference between the levels? Obviously, being from coming level, but the step 3, aren't they, Beaconsfield?
Yeah.
Yeah. So what have you found? What differences have you found coming up to step 2 then? Because it's quite a big sort of gap.
Yeah.
If you think about it, really.
I think Torquay was like the epitome of it. It's just everything. It just felt so much more professional. Obviously, the fan base, and then the tempo and quality of the football is quite a gap. And you've just got to get yourself prepared for that over the season and get used to it. Even in training, it's just that and sharper, unless you have so much less time on the ball. And I think just the collection of all those things just mount up between that gap. I think it's something that I've always backed myself that I can take that leap, and I think I have. And it's just keeping that sharpness and that speed and the know-how. I mean, you look at the league now, and the players that are playing in it are. The quality is amazing in comparison to maybe a few years ago, and things are only going to get better and quicker, and so yeah, I think just a collection of everything really is the real difference between the two leagues, especially. I think every league you go down there is a big gap, and it's just about finding your feet and adapting to the change of everything as quick as you can, as well as you can.
No, yeah, absolutely, 100%, and I think. You as a person, as a player, you've done really well in adapting to this level of football. I mean, you came with a glowing reference from John Underwood. After you were announced, he put something out on Twitter saying how good you were and how good you were for him and for Beaconsfield, and how he knew that you would have no problems making the step up, and and so far he's been proven right.
Yeah, no, I appreciate that, and that's everything you can ask for is your management and your previous management giving you comments like that, and it just doing something right. But I just want to sort of keep my head down, keep working hard, and only improve more and more. Like I said, I've worked with both Bakes and Unders before, and they've sort of really, well, any manager I've had has really molded me into the player I am today. And it's just taking all those things you learn from those management and the experience they have, and then trying to implement that into your game as much as you can, and sort of learn. I'm still learning now, obviously, every game, every training, just trying to get better and better, and really show exactly that the comments are right.
Yeah, and quickly again, I know I keep saying this, but I know you're still. I'm sorry. I know you're still fairly young. You're only 22 years old, and obviously you touched on earlier about not getting a scholarship at 16 years old at Southampton.
Yep.
What would you say now? I mean, like I say, you are still quite young. Well, you're young compared to me and Simon, anyway. But what would you say to any of those young players that are going through that sort of stage now? What advice would you give them?
I think
considering where you are now.
Yeah, I think it would be the cliche of keep working hard. Everything happens for a reason, and you're going to go through ups and downs in your career, no matter who you are, where you are. And I think looking back at how I was then to now, I've grown as a player and as a person so much that each experience that you get, each setback you get, is just fuels for fire, and puts you on a path that sort of you're going to lead, and you just got to keep working hard and keep maintaining those levels of standards and sort of application that eventually you'll reap the rewards, and you'll get a contract, or you'll get that break. So yeah, I think just keep working hard, keep your head down, keep looking at the positive side of things, because things are going to happen in your careers, and ultimately it's down to you to put the work in. But if you do the work, then you will reap the rewards. I'd say that's the main piece.
I think that's good sound advice for any young player. I mean, I speak from like in my own family. I got my nephew. I was saying to Simon the other week. My nephew, he was with the Reading. He got released from Reading under 18s last year, and it was all around that sort of time when the whole club was in a bit of a mess.
Yeah.
And he's just sort of bounced around. He's only 18, 19 now, and he's sort of bounced around a little bit in sort of the lower levels of non-league, and he's just signed for Marlow at Step 3. So I don't think he's played yet, but he's at a good club at a good level, and somewhere for him to learn, basically.
And I think at that age as well, getting men's experience is crucial.
Yeah.
It's the step from, no matter what level you are, the step from playing 21s, 23s football to men's football is massive. And it's not just on the pitch, but in the changing room or on the training pitch, it teaches you a lot about you as a person and how to adapt to the men's environment, which I think at an early age is best to learn early, and then you're used to it. By the time you're 20, 21, you already played sort of up nearing 100 games at men's football, and you've got that experience. So I think that is crucial as well at that age.
Yeah.
I think what you're saying, Dan, is it's quite important, isn't it? If you get a setback, there might be another route for yourself back into football, as long as you're prepared to do the work. It might that route could possibly be not as you first imagined, or it might be a longer way round of doing things. Like yourself, you ended up at Forest Green and then to Eastleigh. Now you've made your way back to the one of the biggest sleeping giants of non-league football in Farnborough. So that's the way things are. And like you say, it's good advice. Really, just get your head down, work hard, and you'll reap the rewards at the end of it. I think it's it's good advice. Thanks for that, Dan.
Ricky Holmes is a prime example of that, because he was playing at Step 5 at I think 18, 19, and then at 21, 22 signs a professional contract. So at a Premier League side. So I think just that he's a prime example of what you can do by working hard. So
exactly. We'll ask him that, because we've got him on in a couple of weeks. So it's a bit of an exclusive. So
some bonus points, I think.
Exactly. we're telling you we're telling you said he was on the scrap heap at 19, and somehow he luckily managed to get himself in the Premier League. So we're telling you said that.
I was gonna say actually on the back of that is Ricky good with the advice around the dressing room?
Oh yeah, he's amazing. He's such a good person as a young player to look up to and respect, because sometimes you don't want to go to the staff or the management. And being a player with you, he's such a good person to lean on and ask advice. And he leads by example. He does what he says, and not only with his goals but with his work rate and everything. His application to training is amazing, really. So it's really someone to look up to, and a really, I think, a crucial part of the team, and on the pitch and off the pitch.
Yeah. Well, like Simon said, we've got him on in a couple of weeks, so we'll put in a good word for you to keep you in the team.
That'd be perfect.
Yeah.
I'll just have to give him some balls for an assist or two, maybe now, I think.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah. Keep him happy.
Put it in the mixer, Dan, and let him and Mason fight over it. That's fine. That's all he can do, really, isn't it?
Yeah, I think Ricky will win that.
Yeah, I think you might. Yeah. I think Mason might just get out of his way. I think Ricky's going for the golden boot this year. I think he started off quite well.
Yeah.
Right. Thanks very much, Dan. I think we can wrap it up, can't we? Yeah.
Yeah, I think we're going to wrap it up there. Thanks a lot, Dan, for coming on. Don't go away too soon just yet. We'll have a little chat when we finish. But thanks for coming on. Thanks for agreeing to do this. It's been an absolute pleasure and learning about you and your career and that. And then hopefully you've got a really good, and I think you do. I've got a really good future at Farnborough Football Club.
Yeah. No, I really appreciate it. It's been such an enjoyable sort of first week, 2 weeks of the season. I think, like I said, I think the fans have been amazing, and long may it continue.
Yeah, 100%. We'll definitely get you on later on in the season as well. Maybe once we've won that trophy.
Perfect. Yeah, when we've lifted that.
All right. So it's good. Let's say it's good night from me. Simon, say good night.
Bye, guys. Thank you for listening.
Thanks for listening. Thanks for watching on YouTube. Don't forget to subscribe to our channel. This episode was brought to you by Tritech Consulting, taking your business visions and turning them into innovative reality. For more information, contact tritechconsulting.co.uk. And that's it. Good night from us, and we will be back next week with a new podcast.